Hey friends, welcome to part 2 of class 3 in the crease pattern tutorial series. And today this is the structure we're going to cover, and specifically these guys right here. Now this kind of pleating I believe was made popular or made by Issei Yoshino, and then also very much made popular by Kamikaze Satoshi. In various forms of models. There's essentially a 22.5 version of this, or at least this kind of sequence, that's found in both his horse and the divine boar. And then more specifically in box pleating, this is the structure used in Ryujin scales, as well as pretty much anything with scales nowadays in box pleating. It's if you want to get scales in your design, you'll probably use these too. So my example today will be, again, you guys seen this before. This is Bodo's Basilisk. Again, designed by my friend Bodo Hag. And these scales also use this kind of transition unit. All right, so let's get to it. But yeah, with this structure, I mentioned that generally it is used, or it is collapsed before collapsing the rest of the model. And what do I mean by that, and how can I tell? So one, by looking at the flat example, you can see that we can kind of even see these structures exposed while it's laying flat. Hopefully it made sense why this one we were able to do it after everything was collapsed, because of that not having the pre-crease kind of style that we did with the squash and then sink. We're also going to use the same squash and sink sequence here, but in this case, which I unfortunately already collapsed the crease pattern, you'd be able to see, or actually let's take a look at the full CP here, right? If you look at where the hinges go, so this crease pattern will be flat folding. You can kind of tell that these pleats happen after the level shifters, notably by these level shift mountains and valleys being uninterrupted while the pleat lines rotate between mountain and valley, meaning that they're folding through already folded layers, versus something like this. It happens first, and then everything that pleats over happens afterwards. So in the Ryujin, for example, these are hidden, so it would fold again something like this, where the pleat lines would be uninterrupted, but these longer mountain valleys, if you were to unfold it, would be interrupted, kind of like here. So yeah, this isn't always the case, but generally the case. This is what you can kind of look for to know when you should do this in the crease pattern, and it'll just help you overall for solving it. And lastly, one more thing about this transition unit before we get started folding is that Origami Sage, another origami YouTuber, made an excellent video and probably the best tutorial on Ryujin scales out there. So I got permission from him to be able to link his video below. So go check that out if you've never done Ryujin scales or this kind of transition unit before. But if you just want to try this transition unit, that's going to be in like the first half of the video. And then if you just actually want to fold the scales, that's the rest of the video. It's honestly a lot of fun, and it teaches you about scales. And hopefully with this video combined with his video, you'll really understand these downshifter / transition units. So once again, what do we need to pre-crease and what do we not need to pre-crease? So this transition unit specifically looks scary because there's so many different half units along our grid. We don't have to pre-crease any of those. You just want to think of pre-creasing this kind of like a level shifter, except as you can see, they're not all valley fold, so it's not going to be quite the same as a level shifter, but just pre-crease this full diamond for all of these. And you might be wondering, oh boys, why is it off-centered? Why is this one near the edge and this one not? And that's just to give extra practice for collapsing this kind of in the middle of a model versus collapsing it towards the edge, because obviously towards the edge, this will probably never really be the case. But if this part is really hard, what you can do is just do the edge side and then treat the rest of these lines as going all the way through the paper, and vice versa. You can just do this side and forget about this whole side. But at least in this video, I'll show it together because that's more of the pleat style, I guess. But yeah, extra practice, you know, with the same crease pattern. But let's get to it. You just want to fold the grid, fold these diamonds. We'll be ready to go. All right, so we are back again. Everything is pre-creased now. There actually wasn't a whole lot to do, but let's get to collapsing. And now you definitely kind of want to do these first in the model, just because as you can see, like it lays flat. And while you can just like solve these without the sequence, it's really, really brute force. And it just makes the whole process less fun and a lot more complicated in my opinion. But yeah, let's get to it. So let's start off with these edge flaps. And while I'm going to do both at the same time, if you just want to do these edge ones first, you can just treat the rest of it going down and ignore this part. So let's show this. So first, I'm just going to start off with mountain folding this whole layer right here, according to our grid. And what we want to do is, you can see we have mountain folded all across, and we're just going to treat it as such. So let's do this one first. When we have it right here, the goal actually is to have a flap that also creases like this. So while there isn't any crease, we want it to come out like so, and I'll show you why. So as you can see, that's actually forming along our creases like this. And you can see we have a valley fold right here. We're actually just going to continue that like so. And then it collapses down. And then we can just lay it flat like this. So that was a lot happening in one step. So let me show that one more time with this guy. So once again, we have our creases here. And then we want to make this flap right here, which is not on the crease pattern. We're going to want to do this as a valley. And I say flap because we're essentially creating a flap. So you can see if I mountain fold this, then this valley will turn it into a flap if we were to fold down like this. And it's not anything too complicated. We're just folding every 2 units like this. And since we have our transition unit here, it collapses like this, and you can kind of see why this semi acts like a level shifter. Essentially it does if you think about it this way, right? Now it looks like a level shifter, but just on the outside, which there is a level shifter like this that we didn't cover yet in this class. But yeah, so that's it on that side. And if we were to open up a little bit on this side, you'd be able to see how it collapses down like this. And honestly, on the back side, it doesn't really matter which direction these guys lie. I just have the hinges so that on Arepa, it would give me a flat folding model. But yeah, so I'm going to show that on this side. And even if you have these collapsed already, we're able to just do it. So again, we're going to start with these mountain valleys here, like so. And then pretty much the same thing happens. We're gonna mountain fold along this one as well. Although, since we already have some of the creases in, you don't have to crease it too hard. And you can really see here, it looks like a level shifter as I push down like this, and it folds across like so. Let's get that precise like that, and we'll lay flat. And then same thing on this side. just like that. And then make sure that's all precise with our hinge. But yeah, so if that part was a little tricky for you, just try it again and practice that a little bit so that it makes sense. It is really easy to get disoriented with this sequence just because of how many things are going on at the same time. So no worries if it didn't make sense that first run, but hopefully I was able to give you enough angles for you guys to kind of see what's going on. But that's the first part to it. And you can probably guess as to what's next. All right, so once again, this is going to be a squash fold and then sink fold sequence, although these sink folds will be much more sink foldy than in the last video. So yeah, let's just kind of take a look at our creases. Obviously from this one, you can tell which way the pleats are going. So we're gonna start like this, and we are going to valley fold this up like so. And this sequence can basically be done with any pattern where you have repeating pleats like this. So if you want to try this with anything else, just to experiment, you can do that too. This is why it works on 22.5 and translates very easily as well. So yeah, we're going to fold this in half, unfold it. We're going to squash fold. And this squash fold is going to be much more squash foldy as well. And again, if you want to practice this on one side, it might be a little easier, but since it's on both sides, the squash fold is just a little bit harder to be precise, but try your best and you'll see it starts to fold along those lines on our crease pattern that we didn't pre-crease, which is exactly why we didn't pre-crease them, because we don't need to. And if you're using thicker paper like me, it's going to be a little thick, so just make sure the paper doesn't stick. But here's our squash fold like this. And you can even see underneath those, if I pull it open, you can see where the pre-crease lines have been made that we didn't need to pre-crease. But yeah, so that's the gist of that. And then now we come to our sink fold. So as we can see, again, from our crease pattern, our valley and mountain here are correct. Valley, mountain here are correct. But these ones aren't. So that means this side is the one we're going to sink fold. So I'm going to fold it down like this, and we're going to sink this top flap upwards. And this is a lot more sinky. It's a closed sink, I believe. But you can open up the model, treat it like an open. Yeah, no, it's a closed sink. Don't treat it like an open sink. You can kind of just push the corners in. Those are the things that are going to fight you the most. You can just push them in like that. And as you get the rest of the fold, it will hopefully align pretty nicely for you, like this. It's not that hard of a sink fold. I know no one likes closed sinks, but this one's not bad. And boom, there you have it. We have our first two pleats. So I'm going to show that to you one more time on here, in case you didn't get that. And make sure to try this out for yourself too. So first of all, we have our flap here. And again, this can be done on any kind of flap, just as we showed in the last part as well. So we're going to fold this up like this in half, crease it strong, and then we're going to squash fold. So squash here and here. And you can see why, again, you wouldn't really want to do this if the model wasn't laying flat, because squash folding while the model's not flat is pretty annoying to do. So I'm going to go here and pop this through here like that. But yeah, if you've done any Ryujin, or if you've gone and done Origami Sage's Ryujin scale tutorial, or if you've gone and done Fearless Flourish's Ryujin tutorial, the full thing, which I'll also link below, you'll probably be familiar with doing this. And then once again, we have our squash fold completed, and then we're going to close sink upwards like this. Just like so. And boom, we're all done. So I took a long time showing that just to explain to you all, but it doesn't take long at all, especially if it's in a crease pattern. And even something as long as the Ryujin, this part's pretty fun in my opinion. But yeah, that's all there is to this one. Feel free to try that out for yourself like this. And then if you're really ambitious, you can try just sticking it maybe in one of your own designs or finding a model that has these and trying them out. Or again, even if you just do the Ryujin scale tutorial by Origami Sage, you'll have a lot of fun and a good understanding of this transition unit. And so that's all for this video. There's going to be one more video that should be out right now, and that's the exercises. So go also check the exercises video to see what you need to practice and just some models. We've got some fun stuff for the exercises this time around. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.
All this origami, all this origami, all this origami got me going kamikaze now.